Welcome back, Tennessee fans. This second episode coming at you week 4 of Tennessee, where they will host number 20. Number 20, really? We'll talk about that along with the game. A couple other games around the SEC on this episode of Tennessee Fan Talk. Get in here. Hey guys, welcome back to week 4 pre-game talking. We've got Florida visiting Neyland Stadium. Sold out crowd of just under 102,000 for last week. Tickets on the resale market for this week, absolutely insane. Crazy to look at and only going up. Tennessee right now, favored to win. It's Sunday night as we record this. Of course, this is a Thursday show, and so that line is willing to. It's going to change, and we'll see how much it's changed by the end. Check us out to follow that kind of information as we start hitting with our polls on who's going to win and what's scored on social media. You should know it by now. Wherever you are, we are. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at TN Fan Talk. As always, I'm Brandon Byrd. Follow me on Instagram at BrandonByrdTN. And our guest, still with us from episode 1 of this week, Luke Alsop, also known as Tito. There's a story behind it. If you want to know it, just ask him. Can't be on here. This is made for kids.
No. That's not a kid-friendly story.
He is if you've been watching and you've seen him on tons and tons and tons, he is a Florida guy, and he's predicted Florida not to do so great.
Yeah. No, they're not going to a bowl game this year. I said it the first of the season, and I stand by that statement.
They do get to have a CBS game of the week. That is the 3:30 Eastern. Tennessee ranked 11. I agree, which I said on the first episode this week. I agree, Tennessee 11 after they beat Florida. Right now, crazy. And for Florida, okay, so preseason, they're not ranked. Correct? Am I right on that? Preseason, they weren't unranked?
I think they were ranked 24th or 25th.
24th, okay. So, or is there unranked or way back there?
Yeah, they were way back in the pack.
They beat a crazy preseason ranking for Utah, whom plays no one, and then barely escape week 3 and still ranked.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
lose to Kentucky in between there.
I think the only reason that Florida is still ranked is because they want the viewership as high as possible for this week's game. The Saturday's game is a huge, they're trying to. It's almost like the odds makers and all the analysts are just looking at the SEC and they're just begging to have teams that are in the top 25. And I think they just look at Florida and they're like, oh well, because of their name, and they did beat Utah, and they've only lost to a number 9 Kentucky. They should still be ranked in the top 25, but that's just insane because it's like, are you guys watching any of these other conferences? Because, I hate the Big Ten, but, or Pac-12, but, I mean, there's teams that are better than Florida that are not ranked right now.
Yes.
I don't understand the still being ranked, but other than the fact that they're trying to get as many eyes on the TV this weekend.
They are trying. Danny White puts out, let's show the nation what Tennessee fan base is all about. They're going to checker Neyland this weekend while it's on CBS, and we get to hear all the hatred from CBS. But we're used to it by now. We're used to it. Come on, it's Tennessee.
is it going to be Gary Danielson? Is it
you know Gary Danielson's going to be there. You know it.
Well, he hates Florida as much as he hates Tennessee. So it's like, I mean, that clown, I can't stand him. God, it's just like, that guy, he's not going to be doing us any favors either. I think he's just going to be sitting there the entire game with the sound of disgust on his tongue.
So maybe he's like, I don't like either one of those teams. I'm not going to be there.
I mean, that would be great. It'd make the game watchable.
So preseason, I'm going through all of my preseason stuff here, which I still haven't made an easy spreadsheet or anything out of this. Preseason, I pick Florida for a win. Now, I do throw an asterisk on the Florida and LSU game and say, look, we could potentially give up one of these. And I still think that that's possible. I'm still not sold on what this offense is capable of. I'm still seeing a 6-year veteran quarterback overthrowing his targets like crazy, underthrowing his receivers like crazy. Now, granted, they're good enough to come back and get it in the games that we've seen. And while Pitt is a great team, they're not an SEC team. And they're not this rivalry. It's not a Florida, who at any point can just turn it on and make things happen. Regardless of how they've played to this point, this is a huge game for both of them. So I'll still say Tennessee can very well lose this game, despite I think them looking better than Florida thus far this season.
It's not even questionable. This is a huge game for both these programs because, Kentucky is sitting in second place in the East right now, but, Kentucky still has the meat of their schedule to go through. Now, they did pass one test with Florida, but, they still have a long ways to go. And whoever wins this Tennessee-Florida game is going to put themselves in the driver's seat for at least the next 3 to 4 games of who's probably going to finish in second place in the East.
Right.
It's a big game.
You know who Kentucky hosts this week?
Is it Youngstown Girls School?
I wish I could say Notre Dame right now, just for you. Well, the team that they host, Vandy just beat. So,
there you go. Mighty schedule, big blue tide, big blue wave, whatever they call them.
I agree with Vegas on the overall. They're saying 62.5 as we are recording on Sunday night. I think so. I don't think it's high enough.
It might not be. I tell you that
each team is capable of putting up 30 points. Each team is highly capable of putting up 30, 35 points.
Yeah.
If Tennessee gets on a roll, they're going to put up 35 in the first half.
Yeah, it's possible. Especially the biggest key to this game, as far as Florida is concerned, is not just the play of Anthony Richardson, but it's if Ventrell Miller is not starting at middle linebacker for Florida. Because when he doesn't start for Florida, their defense is in shambles. Like, they don't know which way is up.
So it is,
and he didn't start this past weekend, and that's why they looked as bad as they did.
It is Florida, so I got to ask you on this. Did he miss because of a court summons or a custody hearing? Or...
You would think that would be the case, coming from the University of Florida. You would think that, it's like, okay, what felony charge did he get hit with this weekend? And how quick can he be back out? But no, this is actual legitimate injury to Miller.
The warden said, look, you can either be out for the South Florida game or the Tennessee game. You got to choose.
Oh, yeah. Give me South Florida.
Give me that one. I'll be out on that one.
Yeah.
Now, as long as you're back by 9 o'clock that night and you don't shank anyone in between.
Yeah, good enough. We're not asking for a lot here.
Oh, that's great. Well, look, you're going to have to sit this one out because we have the video footage of you stealing that Twinkie from the convenience store on the way back. So, what's your pick? What's the score?
So I'm taking into account that Ventrell Miller will be there, but I still think even with him there, I still think Tennessee pulls this one out. With it being at home, I'm going to go 36-24 Tennessee over Florida. I think it's going to be a close game. If Miller is not playing, barring any huge travesties by Hendon Hooker, Tennessee could run away with this one. I think that could very easily happen if Miller is not at that starting middle linebacker spot, because Tennessee's offense can roll. Everybody knows that, and they're going to be able to chew Florida to pieces if he's not in the starting lineup.
So, tore his bicep week 2, and that was in 2021. Wow. So he tore it against USF last year. And so he's going to miss him. And it kept him out for the remainder of the season last year.
Yeah. That was a big reason why Florida's defense looked so bad in the second half of the year last year. That guy's been running that defense for the last going on 4 years now. So without him in there, it's left up to a freshman. And our freshmen are redshirt sophomore, and that's a huge difference. And you've got somebody that's got that kind of experience back there calling your defense.
Okay.
And a 18, 19-year-old.
Well, as it sits right now, it looks like we don't know.
Yeah, he's questionable. I'd say it's probably 60-40 that he's probably not going to play. But who knows?
And if he does, Tennessee is very they've been known to injure people early in a game to benefit them.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I wouldn't put it past them.
I like the score that you have picked. And I agree. I have this feeling that Hooker, he's gonna get his nerves out early. I think it's gonna be something. It's gonna be an early interception or something that's gonna wake him up, or an early touchdown. I mean, one of those like 3-second Kentucky touchdowns that we did to them last year. Something early that's just going to make him feel good. And I'm going to go 42-35 Tennessee, and we'll see.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game for both teams, and I just think Tennessee just has the edge going into this one.
I think they do too. We're going to talk a little bit more about around the SEC after a quick break. Y'all come back now, you hear? Welcome back, Vols fans. We're going to end this episode with just a little bit around the SEC. Of course, Kent State visiting Georgia for their $1 million butt whooping. A game last year, or prior years, I guess, the 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff on ESPN game that normally would not be a good game. Mizzou traveling to Auburn. But that one could be close. That one's kind of anybody's game.
I mean, it could be, but I mean, Auburn could turn it around. I mean, you hope so.
You hope so.
Yeah, I mean, whoever that coach is at Auburn, I still don't know who he is. He may be able to turn it around.
He may not know who he is. Look, They're all mixed up down there, right? Because it's the War Eagle Tigers, so no one really knows. No one knows what's going on.
Nobody knows. I mean, just give the ball to Tank and get out of the way. just feed him the ball like 35, 40 times in the game and just get out of the way. It could be a close one.
Bowling Green learning air raid of Mississippi State on the noon Eastern SEC game. Of course, Florida and Tennessee we've talked about. Tulsa visiting Ole Miss. I swear he just has the easiest schedule thus far. Kentucky hosting Northern Illinois. The big game right here. This is a big test. The 7 o'clock on a neutral site. I think this is the one that's played at the AT&T Stadium on ESPN. Arkansas and Texas A&M.
That's gonna be a good one.
This is number 10 Arkansas, by the way, ranked number 10. Texas A&M still hanging in the rankings at 23. I'm saying go Hogs.
I mean, hey, there's just a lot of questions. I mean, how good or how bad is Texas A&M? And you could say the same thing about Arkansas. Arkansas barely got past, who were they playing? Southern Missouri or somebody this past weekend, and they barely eked that win out. So I don't think either one of these two teams are living up to their potential.
Yeah, what I'm hoping, Missouri State. Yeah,
the Missouri State. What I'm hoping for is both of these two teams find their stride in this game.
And make it a shootout.
Yeah, they could make it a real shootout. Like they could make it one hell of a game if they find their stride in this game. So I think that's best case scenario.
And if it's not a good game, you can always change the channel to the SEC network and watch Vanderbilt and Alabama.
watch the Mighty Doors just anchor down on that tide, boy. They're gonna bring that tide to bear.
Oh, God.
That tide's going to be low come Saturday.
And I'm glad that LSU gets to suffer the air time that Tennessee did this past weekend, hosting New Mexico State. You can find that on ESPN Network Plus, which means watch it on your app. Everyone with their phones turn sideways if you're an LSU fan. Last game is Charlotte visiting South Carolina, just to make Shane Beamer and his guys in the locker room feel much better about the absolute butt whooping that was just put on them.
Yeah, them boys need to win. They need to find something.
They need to find something because after that game, they have one other cupcake game. South Carolina State is what it looks like. And then they play at Kentucky, and then Texas A&M, and then Mizzou comes to town for the battle of mediocrity, and then Vanderbilt, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson. So they've got a road up ahead.
They do. But I still think South Carolina is good enough, and I think they have enough talent. They can definitely make a bowl game if they can turn it around. If they can get Rattler to pull his head out of his own, you know what, and stop making ridiculous throws. They're not that bad of a team. I mean, they're not good, but they're not that bad of a team. They should be able to make the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl again.
Oh, boy, he ain't even here to defend himself on that one. Perfect timing for the spit right there. Boy, I want to hit our guests with one quick thing before we bail out of here, and that is always a little trivia. We will like to give a little trivia, and then we can send him a Join the Hype Train T-shirt if he gets it right, and then he has to send a picture via social media of him wearing it as a Florida fan.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm going to ask you just a few questions. We'll see if you can guess the team. 2022 team leaders as of now, passing yards with 1,130 passing yards. What team owns that record?
I mean, you would want to say Georgia just because of how much they've been outscoring their teams, but I don't know if Stetson Bennett has done that yet.
I mean, he is airmail.
I think it's either them or Ole Miss, and it's probably somebody ridiculous like Ole Miss. I mean, I'm gonna go with Georgia.
You are correct.
Okay.
You are correct. On Georgia. Second question, and then we have one more. Leading in rushing yards, this team has 869 rushing yards. Who owns this record as a team?
I'm gonna go with Arkansas.
That's not a bad pick. Unfortunately, you will not be getting the Tennessee Fan Talk Join the Hype Train T-shirt.
Oh, that's a shame. I don't have to wear that now.
It is. But yeah, no, maybe we should send it to you because you didn't get it.
No, those were the rules now.
And that's great. Now you have to wear this T-shirt and take a picture because you lost. It's Vanderbilt with 869 rushing yards. Yes, it is. Arkansas does have a team leader position up there. They have 17 sacks. Yeah. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gave me every chance in the world to pick every SEC team, and Vanderbilt would have been the last one I'd have picked.
For rushing yards. Yeah. Your Vols, guys, third in the SEC right now, only because they do not have a loss and they do not have a conference win. So Georgia and Kentucky sitting above them until this time next week. We'll talk about the game against Florida and the victory. Fingers crossed. It is Florida. They are the luckiest team alive. I mean, it'll be the game-winning kick, and the lights will go out. You never know. I mean, Marco Wilson will probably come back out on the field, and he'll end up throwing a Tennessee player's shoe out in the, up 4 rows. Spurrier's over there, and Sunbelt Billy's over there saying, "Cut it!" Spurrier's cutting off the lights.
I would put it past him.
Ice the kicker. Let me show you the definition of ice the kicker.
Yeah. They do a 30 for 30 when the lights went out in Knoxville.
It's Spurrier's in disguise of he's got all Tennessee gear on.
Yeah.
Smoky helmet.
Yeah, they'd be like, it's rumored that Lane Kiffin was helping him during this entire thing.
He was disguised as a mustard vendor.
It'll go like the Zapruder film with like JFK getting shot. They'll show the old footage of
out on the grassy knoll is Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, exactly. I saw the man over there. I'm telling you, it was Lane Kiffin.
Says the coach. Oh, that's great. See, that one right there is what we make YouTube shorts for. Guys, we appreciate the listens, the watches, the views, the listens, the likes. Let's get in on some more comments. Remember, wherever you are, we are at Tennessee TN, not Tennessee TN Fan Talk. And feel free to comment below. We'll get in whatever type of discussion you want with you. If you're interested in joining the show, you don't have to be a Tennessee fan. We invite Florida fans. Look, I mean, right here. And he picked against his team. Come on. Hey, forget about it.
Well, you got to tell the truth, even if it hurts.
That's right. So. We appreciate you, Luke. We appreciate you jumping on here with us this week. And next week,
thanks for having me.
We should have the Duke back from his Bristol action.
Yeah,
as long as he didn't do anything crazy to get arrested.
Yeah,
I mean
he's gonna need him up.
He's not he's not on the Florida roster, so the chances of getting arrested are thin.
Even though he does look like a Florida man.
I think possibly he went to Bristol in some jorts.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very, very real possibility. I mean, you can pretty much put money on that he did go in jorts. And,
and his natty lights.
Yeah. He's going to need 4 or 5 days to recover from them 46 natty lights he drank during Bristol. Yeah, that boy's going to need some time. He's going to need a few days.
And nothing like the gain and recovery from cheap alcohol.
No. Rough.
Ben, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode.